Feeding and eating disorders are characterized by persistent disturbance of eating or eating-related behavior that results in the altered consumption or absorption of food that significantly impairs physical health or psychosocial functioning. In today's video, I'd reckon we will take a look at some of the listed feeding and eating disorders within the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, 5th edition text version. The first one of which is PICA. PICA is an eating disorder characterized by a persistent consumption of one or more non-nutrient and non-food substances on a persistent basis over a period of at least 1 month since its onset that is severe enough to warrant clinical attention. Typically ingested substances include things such as paper, soap, cloth, hair, string, wool, soil, chalk, talcum powder, paint, gum, metal, pebbles, coal, charcoal, ash, clay, starch, or ice. The consumption of the non-nutrient and non-food substances is required to be inappropriate to the individual and is not part of a culturally supported and/or socio-normative practice. So the term non-food is included because diagnosis of PICA does not apply to ingestion of diet products that have minimal nutritional content. The eating of non-nutritive, non-food substances can be an associated feature of other mental disorders, such as intellectual developmental disorders, autism spectrum disorder, and schizophrenia. The diagnosis of PICA should be made only if it is sufficiently severe to warrant additional clinical attention. A minimum age of 2 years is suggested for a PICA diagnosis to exclude the developmentally normal mouthing of objects by infants that result in ingestion. Rumination disorder is a feeding disorder characterized by repeated regurgitation of food occurring after feeding or eating over a period of at least 1 month. Previously swallowed food that may be partially digested is brought up into the mouth without apparent nausea, involuntary retching, and or disgust. The regurgitated food might be chewed, then ejected from the mouth, or be swallowed. Regurgitation in rumination disorder should be frequent, occurring at least several times per week, typically daily. The repeated regurgitation must not be attributable to an associated gastrointestinal condition or other medical condition. The eating disturbance must not occur exclusively during the course of anorexia or bulimia nervosa, binge eating disorder, or avoidant restricted food intake disorder. If the symptoms occur in the context of another mental disorder, such as an intellectual developmental disorder or a neurodevelopmental disorder, they must be sufficiently severe to warrant additional clinical attention and should represent the primary aspect of the individual's presentation requiring intervention. Avoidant restrictive food intake disorder could be either an eating or feeding disturbance that is associated with one or more symptoms, such as a significant weight loss or failure to achieve expected weight gain or faltering growth in children, significant nutritional deficiency, or a dependence on enteral feeding or nutritional supplements that marked interferes with psychosocial functioning. The disturbance is not better explained by lack of available food, by an associated culturally sanctioned practice. The eating disturbance must not occur exclusively during the course of anorexia or bulimia nervosa, and there is no evidence of a disturbance in the way which one's body weight or shape is experienced. The eating disturbance is not attributable to a concurrent medical condition or not better explained by another mental disorder. When the eating disturbance occurs in the context of another condition or disorder, the severity of the eating disturbance exceeds that routinely associated with the condition or disorder and warrants additional clinical attention. Another condition most of you might be familiar with is anorexia nervosa, an eating disorder characterized by restriction of energy intake relative to requirements studied to significantly low body weight in the context of age, sex, developmental trajectory, physical health, an intense fear of gaining weight or becoming fat, or persistent behavior that interferes with weight gain, even though it's significantly low weight, and disturbance in the way which one's body weight or shape is experienced. Undue influence of body weight or shape on self-evaluation, or persistent lack of recognition of the seriousness of the current low body weight. Bulimia nervosa on the other hand, is another eating disorder characterized by recurrent episodes of binge eating in a discrete period of time that is definitely larger than what most individuals would eat in a similar period of time under similar circumstances. A sense of lack of control over eating during the episode, such as feeling that one cannot stop eating or control what or how much one is eating, current inappropriate compensatory behaviors in order to prevent weight gain, such as autogenic emesis, laxative, diuretic abuse, or abuse of other medications, fasting, or excessive exercise. The binge eating and inappropriate compensatory behaviors both occur on average at least once a week for 3 months. The disturbance must not occur exclusively during the episodes of anorexia nervosa. Binge eating disorder, akin to bulimia nervosa, is also characterized by recurrent episodes of binge eating, of both eating in a discrete period of time and an amount of food that's definitely larger than what most people would eat in a similar period of time under similar circumstances, and a sense of lack of control or eating during the episodes, such as feeling that one cannot stop eating or control what or how much one is eating. These binge eating episodes are associated with 3 or more symptoms, such as eating much more rapidly than normal, eating until completely full, eating large amounts of food when not feeling physically hungry, eating alone because of feeling embarrassed by how much one is eating, feeling disgusted with oneself, depressed or very guilty afterward. While the stress regarding binge eating is present, binge eating occurs on average at least once a week for 3 months. The binge eating is not associated with the recurrent use of inappropriate compensatory behavior, as in bulimia nervosa, and does not occur exclusively during the course of bulimia nervosa or anorexia nervosa.